Happy Monday night. It's not Monday night. Happy Wednesday night. I'm used to doing these on a Monday night sometimes. So that's all right. I totally lost a couple of days of the week. It's Wednesday night. Sorry to freak you out, everyone. I decided this afternoon to jump in and share my biggest lessons for 2018 so far. I'm all for taking the lessons from every step that I take, the good, the bad, and the wonky. And I think it's really important that we share what's really going on and the reality of what happens behind the scenes when we are creating something out of nothing, when we are putting ourselves out there or attempting to put ourselves out there. Kate's here. Hello. I've missed you, Kate. I hope all's going well. Looked like you had a sick little person at home with you today. So I hope you got something done, some sort of productivity and lots of cuddles for little ones. I'm jumping on today to just share, I guess, some of my biggest lessons from 2018, probably cumulative up until, for a while up until this point. But I think they're really good lessons for people to take on board. First of all, to let you know that you're doing okay, like that, we all go through this stuff. And secondly, hoping that some of my angst or my false starts along the way will help you maybe avoid some of your own. So that is my wish for tonight. Kate, how are you going? Are you ready for end of financial year? Is that a big deal in what you're doing? Probably not, maybe in the day job, but I know when I was in finance, the 30th of June, end of financial year, like June was manic. And then when I left finance, it kind of hasn't been a big deal for me. There isn't the same expectation around June. There isn't the same anxiety around getting everything done before the 30th of June. So it's kind of like a nice place to be. But it is a really good opportunity to reflect on what's been happening in the last 6 months and what I want to plan for the next 6 months, because we are the creators. Like, it's up to us to check out and to create and to really feel into what we want to put out into the world. So Kate, you're saying got so much going on, not end of financial year related, just things taking off. Awesome. That's so cool. Sometimes getting busy when everything takes off is amazing but exhausting. So make sure you reset along the way. I probably should add reset to one of my lessons. I think that's just an overall theme that we need to carry on with. 2018 for me so far has been full of wonder and delight, and full of so many lessons. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, not quite what I expected it to be. But one of the things I'll share about taking action is the more we step into what we're curious about, the more the answers that you're pondering will be answered. It really is about getting out of our head and into action and just showing up and trying new things and just putting yourself out there and not believing all the shitty fear and the shitty mind shit that's going on between your ears. Because, I often say, if we believe everything that's going on between our ears, if we were to project that out loud, people would run for miles. Like, people would say, that's just not on. You can't say that stuff. And yet we have this narrative and this story going on behind the scenes forever. So I'm going to kick it off. If you're coming back to the replay, please let me know that you are here. I know it's short notice for everyone, but I had an inkling and an urge this afternoon to share some things that I had figured out. I was doing a discovery call with someone today, and just sharing my experience with what I've been through, it just made them feel a little bit better about what they're going through right now. We all go through the ups and the downs. So as you're coming on, say hello. If you're coming back for the replay, say hello. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tash Vanzetti, discovery coach, mentor, mind shit buster, I was called the other day. I love that one. Kerry Lee's here. Hello. It's just, I think the more I can show up and share what my journey has been and what I have discovered, the more that gives you permission to show up and do the same for yourself, or just come out of hiding from yourself. Just start to admit that maybe you're doing better than you thought, or maybe, it's not just you. Everyone's going through something at the moment. So we just need to be a little bit kinder to ourselves when we do this. Now, I've got 10 lessons written down here. I will recap. I'm not going to spend all night here. Everyone's got a life. But I'm happy if anyone's got any questions as I go through them. If you're coming back to watch the replay, or you're thinking about it later and you go, actually, Tash, I should have asked you that. Just pop back in and put a comment in, and I'm going to be monitoring this post. So it's totally fine. I guess my biggest lesson, be it in the last 6 months or just in my whole business iteration, my whole business journey, and I've been doing this for 8 years now in lots of different forms. I've had lots of different business iterations. And I guess my work that I do now as a discovery coach and as a mentor has only stemmed from the fact that I kept being open and curious and trying new things, because I didn't want to settle. If I was going to settle, I would have stayed in corporate. Tanya's here. Hi, Tanya. So I think there's been lots of iterations, lots of lessons, lots of false starts. The biggest lesson of all, it's top of my list. It's sort of the common thread that I bring into everything that I'm doing now. And it's a reminder that if there's one thing you take away from tonight or today, wherever you are in the world, it is this. And that is the most important story of all in everything we do is the one that we tell ourselves. Now, that might sound a little bit cryptic, but let me tell you, we all have a narrative going on. Whether sometimes we're aware of that narrative, sometimes we're not. We all know that we are wired for story. We know that we love to hear a good story. We love to, watch a great movie, read a great book. And there's all these stories that go on, and there's all these stories that shape the reality that we're in. Now, some stories are great. Some are really positive. They're what I call my stories for growth. And there's some other stories out there that just aren't maybe as supportive and maybe aren't serving you as well as you had hoped. Now, usually they're the stories that are a little bit deeper that we might not recognize, but no matter what that narrative is that's going on, that is what's shaping your reality. That is what's shaping your position that you are in right now. Yes, there may be external circumstances happening, but it's how you respond to those. It's how you react to those. It's how you show up after those. And it's what you're paying attention to going forward. So, I have discovered over the last 8 years of this journey that I had a lot of stories that were not serving me. On paper, I thought I was super successful in the things that we expect to be successful in. I had a great job. They paid me lots of money in the finance world. I had a beautiful family, happy, healthy kids, all of that stuff. Amazing husband. And I felt really inside and really ungrateful for it all. I thought the easy thing to do would be to leave that job, which was not fulfilling me anymore, which was draining me to no end, and go and do my own thing. Like, wouldn't that be nice? No one telling me what to do, so much freedom, so much opportunity. And it turned out to be one of the scariest things I've ever done. And during those years, I have discovered so many stories that were driving my decisions that I've been making for the past 45 years. And it's only through constant iteration that I've been able to identify those stories and start to rewrite them or edit them or replace them with ones that are going to serve the future that I want to create. Now, many of those stories were around fear and perfection and never, ever, ever wanting to fail. I would never let anyone see me fail. So I got stuck in this perfectionist mode, and that just kept me really stuck because I wouldn't allow myself to fully try anything new. I would say the right things and I would pretend I was doing all these crazy things, all these big things and stepping out, but really I was hiding, and I was constantly pulling myself back because of that story that no one can see me fail. Now, luckily, it's a story I have corrected. It's still there a little bit. It still pops up every now and then. I'll share my remedy for that one going forward. So as everyone's coming on live, just say hi so I know who's here. Let me know where you're coming, where everyone is. It's cold in Canberra here tonight. I've got a big cardigan across my lap down in my office. The rest of the house is a bit noisy. But that's probably one of the biggest stories that I've had to overcome, that no one can ever see me fail. We have to fail. We have to get better at being beginners, at learning and at failing, because it's only through failure that we take on the lessons that we need to take on and that we get redirected to where we need to go. Lesson number 1 is the most important story of all of the stories out there in the world. The most important story is the one that we tell ourselves. So please make sure it's a good one. Next time you are getting frustrated with something, Next time something's not working out, or you can't quite figure out where you want all these things to happen, and yet 3 months later, 6 months later, 12 months later, you're in exactly the same position. Like you've been busy, you've been doing all the things, but nothing's changed. If there's a frustration there, and if there's a lack of result, there is a story underneath all of it that is driving your decisions, that is driving your actions. Shell's here. Hello. Susie, hi. I've been following your posts, Susie. I'm loving them. There's that nice little kick of inspiration that I need along the way. So I think that's, it's really important that we get really curious about the stories that we are living by. We get really curious about that underlying narrative that's going on and directing the decisions that we make and the actions that we take. Because we can say that we want to do all these amazing things. We want to create this business. We want to go and help all these people. And yet the story inside is not allowing that. So we have to, smart, sweet soul sister. Susie, thank you. We really have to pay close attention to those underlying stories and that narrative and acknowledge them. See them for what they are. Like start to bring them out from between your ears and just see them for what they are. Okay, so that is lesson number one. Now, I could go on about these stories forever. Most of you will know, or some of you will know, that my definition for these stories is mind shit. My definition of mind shit is the stories we believe that keep us playing small. Because I played small for years and years and years, and I still fall for it. The mind shit will come and smack me down every chance it gets. But what I'm getting much better at is identifying it a lot sooner and then working out a way to get around it and to work through it and to just calm it down. So it's really important that when you are getting frustrated, when things aren't working, when fear creeps in, when indecision and overwhelm, when all of that stuff creeps in, it's just mind shit. So if you want to take that word on, I know some of you guys in this that are on here watching use the word mind shit. It's such a nice relief when you can just, all that weight and pressure and frustration, you can just give it a name and have a laugh at yourself and say, great, we know what we're working with here. Okay, so if you're telling stories, be aware. Is it mind shit that's going on that's keeping you small and stuck, or is there something else? Like, what's the underlying narrative? Okay, so that's lesson number one. The most important story of all is the one that we tell ourselves. So make sure it's a good one. That's all I ask. Please make sure it's a good one. Number two is the voice of doubt is not reality. It is just a voice created from habits, from of stories. Oh, hopefully my Wi-Fi is not going to drop out. It's just a voice. It's just a story. It's just a habit loop that you're falling into. The stories we create and the stories we live by I'm just going to plug in my cable, and hopefully if the Wi-Fi drops out again, we're not going to be lost. Because it's typical, isn't it? You go to do a live, share all these things, and my Wi-Fi plays up. Anyway, we'll see how we go. So you really have to be mindful and don't believe everything you tell yourself. Okay? That's another big lesson. Do not believe everything you are telling yourself. We live in our own little bubble. We are so emotionally attached to our ideas, our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions. And some of them just aren't true, to be honest. Some of them are a lot of bullshit, and we need to be aware of that. So please don't fall for it. Please don't listen to it. Okay, yes, I'm back. Yay, I'm back. So I'm not sure how much of that you missed, but what I was just saying and reminding you of is that the stories that you're telling yourself may not be true. Most of them aren't. There's nothing better than getting a fresh set of eyes on something, than getting a fresh perspective on the situation that you are in. You can have an idea roll around in your head for days, for weeks, for months. It will get so convoluted and so volatile because you've rolled it around. The minute you share that story and you get it out of your head and you voice that out loud with someone that you can trust, someone in your support group, they can put a different perspective on it. They can see an answer or a solution that you can't see for yourself. So it's really important that you don't keep all of this stuff inside, that if things aren't going right, if you're frustrated about something, if you're having doubts, if you're scared shitless, if you're terrified about something, if you suspect you're playing small, then you have to voice that. You have to say it out loud. Now, I'm not saying you go and jump on your page and share it with everyone like I am now. What I'm saying is you have to find your support group and your support network that you can be open and honest with. Because if you keep putting on this facade and this mask, and I've worn many masks over the years, it's just going to fuel that self-doubt. You need to drop the layers and drop the masks and start to allow yourself and give yourself permission to come through as who you really are. Now, it's really funny. I didn't realize that I wore a mask. I didn't realize that I had this shield up, shielding Tash, shielding me from myself, I think, to be honest. Because in corporate, when I was living that life and, you know, building that career, it wasn't really something I'd aspired to. I fell into it. I was good at it. It paid well. I stayed. Like, I think the story for a lot of us. And what I found is I put all these shields and these layers up, and I kept watering down and filtering down and, you know, really hiding away who I really was. And I'd sort of forgot who I was after a while. And when I left that job and I was doing my own thing and I was going out and doing things, I thought I had let go of all those shields. I thought I had dropped all those masks. And what I found, like even watching a video from 12 months ago, I did some interviews for a podcast I was going to launch last year. And I watched those interviews back, and they're only 12 months old. And I could still see that wasn't really me, that I had this shield or this barrier up. Debbie's here. Hey, welcome. So it's an ongoing process. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's something that just happens overnight when we make the decision. We have to practice being ourselves. Now, that sounds really silly, but it's really true, because we worry so much about what other people think. We worry about being judged. We worry about saying the wrong thing, about coming across as, you know, someone that isn't professional or isn't this or isn't that. So I think we just have to practice being ourselves and be okay with that. I am much more relaxed these days about the words that I use, the way I show up, the way I explain things, the way I share things. Very, very different than I was 12 months ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I definitely had that corporate facade, that kind of whitewash that we put over ourselves when we do those jobs and we walk around in our suits and we think we're all important and we sit in boardrooms and we crunch numbers, and it served its purpose at the time. It kept me protected in that world, but I don't need that layer anymore. I don't need that shield. So if I keep talking about, you know, all of these things for this long, we're never going to get off this thing, are we? And let me know as you're coming in, as you're here now, as you're watching the replay, let me know if any of this resonates. Like, let me know if you can relate to anything I'm sharing here. And you might just, you know, if not right now, just think about it. As you go through your day tomorrow and the next week and the next week, just go back and think about, am I really showing up as who I really am? Have I got some shield or some layer up? Am I trying to protect myself? Am I filtering myself down? I think too many of us do filter ourselves down, and it doesn't mean that we can land with the right people. The people that are out there that need us for what we have to offer, that resonate with who we are, can't find us if we're only showing up half-assed, to be honest. Okay, number 3. And this was one I tested again yesterday. Action wins over distraction every single time. I always say that you can't perfect what you don't start. And I have to keep saying that to remind myself, Tash, get it out. Doesn't have to be perfect. Get it out. Doesn't have to be perfect. Because in my mind, I'd get these ideas and I would try and perfect them and make sure that no one was, you know, that everyone was going to love it and it was perfect for everyone. And that's just not the case. Like, we can't perfect what we don't start. And if we get stuck in overwhelm, overwhelm stems from hesitation, from that uncertainty, from overthinking, and then you create all these scenarios. You think about all the things that could go wrong. You think about what people might say. Instead of just getting the idea out there and sharing it with people and letting the right people find it and letting them help you mold it into what it needs to be. So, Susie, I'm glad this resonates with you. I'm sure you've heard many stories over the years from different people through your own life and experience. And yeah, I think it's something that when we're really honest and open with ourselves, we can start to let the pressure, let that expectation drop a little bit, to be okay with just being ourselves and to start to really pay attention to the stories or what's driving us, what's getting us where we are today, what's helping us achieve the things we want to achieve, and what's holding us back. And I think that's a really important thing. There is so much information out there about strategies, and I'm going to talk about courses and programs in a minute. but there is so much information out there about stuff, about the how-to of online business. None of that will ever work for you if you have not worked on this foundation stuff of owning the stories that are creating the vision that you want to create, of, creating stories for growth, of creating stories to live by. You cannot fully implement any of those other things unless you've got this foundation stuff figured out. So Kerry Lee, you're saying, that's me. I always want everything to be perfect. I hear you. I think that stems from, there's a lot of different reasons why we have that perfectionistic tendency. It's just fear in disguise. We just pretty it up and put a bow on it and say, oh, no, it's not fear. I'm not scared. I just want it to be perfect. No, we just need to get over ourselves and start, especially when we are building something new, when we are out there learning new tools, new programs, new identities. And that's the other thing around identity, is you need to try this new identity on. Like, reinvention is a process. You can't just put on a new suit, put on a new dress, and off you go, you're that person. It's something that has to be practiced. But as adults, we're really bad at being beginners again. We don't like to see each other, we don't like to show people that we're failing. So our go-to is perfectionism. So if I just sit back and wait till it's perfect and then I can show people, it's the perfect hiding mechanism, isn't it? It's beautiful. It's perfect. So yeah, action wins over distraction every single time. So yesterday, I had an idea. I was chatting to one of my mastermind buddies over in New York, and we were talking about just different things and what's coming up and different ways that, we sort of help each other out, because again, we're in our own heads, and to voice what we're thinking to each other, we can sort of start to formulate what's going on. And we're talking about this group that we're starting, and it's called Focus Forward. And I often talk about this term of focus forward. Let's focus forward, focus forward. Don't get stuck in the past. Don't sit with the old stories. Let's focus forward. What do we need to focus on? Where are we going? What are we doing? What do we need to create? So I had this idea after I got off the call from her that, wow, that's so true. So many people are stuck in the past, and we need to focus forward. So I had this idea for a little program that I wanted to put together. It's 4 weeks. People just, you come in, it's one-on-one, 4 weeks. We do vision. We do distraction versus action. We do visibility, because everyone's in hiding. No one really wants to admit what they're working on as far as their vision. And then we work out a focus forward plan. Now, that idea, I could have played with that for 3 months. I could have spent hours, days, weeks fiddling around with design, doing surveys, putting it out there, doing all these things. I did a video on it, and I had it out there I had it out within 12 hours, because I did the video, and then I had to pick up kids, feed horses, do dinner, do all that other stuff that I do in my life. But it was out there. It wasn't perfect, but I knew in my mind, from all the people that I've worked with, this is something that can help so many people just get over that initial, where they're stuck right now, to see what these stories are and to move them forward, just to give them that push forward and that clarity that they need, and give them the markers to identify where they're getting stuck and what they can do to fix that. It's not going to be for everyone. And, I had someone talk to me today about it. They were really interested in it. And it turns out that 4-week intensive isn't what they need. She signed up for a 3-month sort of longer program instead. But I've worked with enough people, I've been through enough of these scenarios myself to know that opportunity is perfect for a group of people. There's certain people out there that will need that. So if I didn't put that straight out there, if I didn't start sharing that idea, there's people out there that need that would still be suffering because I hadn't shared it. Now, just by sharing that yesterday, just by talking about it, just by getting it out there, it's already forming in my mind of how that's going to be delivered, the extra resources, all of these things. It's all coming together beautifully because it's out there in the open, and it's taking on a life of its own, rather than it sitting in my head as an idea and not doing anything with it. So Kate, you're saying I clearly need to work faster. I have a new idea, an extension really, but never the time to get it done. Now, time is a great one. I'm glad you brought that up. It's not on my list. We make time for the things that are important to us. And then we also make time for the things that are a distraction for us. When things are really exciting and they're really important to us and we really want to do them and we really want to do them well, we can procrastinate and distract ourselves to the nth because we're scared about what's going on. So my challenge to you, Kate, if it's a new idea that's really important to you and really exciting, then I want you to make some time for it, even if it's half an hour to get it out of your head. Like, at what point have you started working on it, or is it just still sitting in here? Is it out of your head in any particular way? Because I'm pretty sure you can find half an hour somewhere. Now, I shared a story last year. I was thinking, I was going through my business that had lots of different stuff on. I had different programs running and all of this kind of stuff. And my dad, so I thought I was really busy. My diary was full. I had all these things going on. I'm like, oh, I'm so busy. And I got a phone call. My dad was in hospital. He'd had several heart attacks and he was in ICU. And I'm like, right, I'm not that busy after all. He is now my priority. I moved things in my calendar. I took 3 days and I jumped in the car and I drove down to see him. Like, I made time. Now, I know that's dramatic and we don't want that to happen just to make time in our diary. But I'm saying we can prioritize when we need to. So, Kate, you are saying I took a week off the day job to make time trying. I'm sure you are, and you have a lot of things going on. But sometimes we just have to make that commitment and that sacrifice to just do the important things. So I spoke before about action wins over distraction. I had plenty of other things I could have done yesterday and not put this idea out there for Focus Forward. But I knew that was important. I knew I just need to get version 1 out there and in front of people, and then I could get back to the other stuff. So just have another look, take another look, prioritize a little bit, find some time somewhere to just start. And sometimes we get in this frame of mind that we've got this big idea. I need 5 hours to work on it. I need half a day to work on it. I need this to work on it. It's cumulative small steps. We can think really big with the idea. Start small. What's one little step that you can do? 10 minutes here. I call them pockets of time. And when we're conscious of this, it's much easier to get things done. So pockets of time we can fritter away on Facebook. Pockets of time we can map out that next outline. You won't have it fully outlined, but you can map out like the key points and things like that. So yeah, that's my challenge for you for this week. Okay, number 4, asking for help is hard but necessary. I have struggled for years to ask for help. Occasionally I would, give in and ask for help, and I'd be absolutely mortified that I had to ask for help. I grew up with a story that Tash is the one that's in control. Tash will look after everything. Tash has got everything handled. I was the eldest of 4. I was, in charge of a lot of things. If anything had to be organised at work, that's okay, Tash can do it. She's so organised. That's okay, Tash can do it. I was always saying yes to everyone, and never asking for help for myself. Happy to help everyone else around me, would never help myself. When my babies were little, I had to do it all myself. God forbid, friends would say, can I help you? No, I'm fine. I've got it all figured out. Losing my shit behind the scenes. So asking for help can be hard. It can be like, ugh, I don't want to admit that I don't know this. I don't want to admit that I'm freaking out. I don't want to admit that I haven't got this figured out yet. Asking for help is actually a sign of strength, not weakness. So don't think that not asking for help makes you seem stronger. It's actually going to be worse in the back end of you not being able to move forward because you're not asking for help. So I hope that one sticks with someone that needs to hear it. Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about is what's the difference between groups, like Facebook groups where you can get support, or group programs, courses where you buy the digital course, and one-on-one coaching. Because I get this question a lot. It's something I've played with for years. I've done them all over and over. So Susie, you're saying asking for help. I get that. I'm the eldest too. Yeah, I don't know if possibly it's because we are the eldest. And, I'm the eldest of 4. I was 13 years older than my little brother, 2 sisters in between, just always helping people out. And I love helping people out. I'm a nurturer by nature. But I never felt like I could ask for help for me. I was happy to, reach out and help everyone else, but never felt that I could ask for help for me. I don't know what that is. I'm still working on that story. But yes, I'm much better these days at asking for help. It's still sometimes a bit uncomfortable because I still don't like to say, I don't know something, but I know I'm a glorious work in progress. We all are. And that's the beautiful thing, isn't it? We are all a glorious work in progress, and we have to embrace that, and we have to celebrate that. We're never going to reach that final destination. We're just going to keep growing and evolving if we allow ourselves to. That's the kicker. To asking for help. So groups, courses, and one-on-one. Facebook groups are great. Group programs are great. I've run them. I'm part of them. I attend them. They're awesome for that community, for that feedback, for lots of different things. But I even still have people in my groups that are showing up and asking questions. I still get private messages from them as well, asking me other questions they're still not comfortable asking in the group. They still feel a bit of hesitation around it, or embarrassment or fear or shame or whatever it is. So not everything, you're not able to come out with everything within a group. Sometimes you can. I've been in groups that are very open and very honest. It just depends on the dynamic of the group. So it just depends with all of these things where you need your support. And we all need support. We all need to ask for help as we're learning. You need to find what's right for you at that particular point in time. So courses are great. Courses give you the information that you need. You can these are the steps, go and implement it, done. But I have spent thousands, probably tens of thousands of dollars over the years on courses that I did not fully implement because I got stuck in the mind shit. I got stuck in inaction, in overwhelm, in hesitation, paralyzed, not able to take the next step because I would not say, oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure about this. So courses are great if you're going to get in and do the work. There is no point buying a course if it's going to sit there in the digital library with all the other courses, just, draining your credit card instead of getting you where you want to go. Now, there's some courses I can buy and implement straight away. They're sort of the easy click how-tos. Other courses that might take a bit of work, a bit of inner work, or push you outside of your comfort zone, they're the ones you have to be careful of. So I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that you have to be aware of the story that may be stopping you if you're not completing the courses that you're buying. Then you've got your one-on-one option. Now, I know I've worked with coaches one-on-one over the years. I've worked in groups. I've worked in masterminds. I've bought courses. It's all different. They all serve their purpose. But if you find that you are getting stuck on particular things where you're getting too scared to reach out and ask for help, you're just not getting through the things you know you need to do, or you have absolutely no idea what to do next, that's when you need some one-on-one support. That's when it's okay to have someone there guiding and supporting and cheering you on and giving you a kick up the bum when you need it and being, talking you off the ledge when you need it. I often have clients and they'll just ring me saying, I need to be talked off the ledge. Can you just get me down from here? Not literally, but Bedri's here. Hello. How is your beautiful family, Bedri? I'm hoping you're not too cold down there in Melbourne. I haven't seen you in ages. It's probably been years since we've caught up. So thanks for jumping on. We have to just look at what's important to us at the time, what our frustration is right then and there, what we are trying to achieve. Like, where are you now? What are you trying to achieve, and what's the gap that you need to bridge? And that's when you can make a decision. Do I need a course? Do I need a supportive community, or do I need one-on-one coaching? Like, that's where you have to sort of have figure it out. I often talk to people who just aren't sure. So they'll get in touch and they'll say, can you just help me out, work this out? Sure, no problem. I'm not going to say work with me one-on-one if that's not what you need. I'm not going to say join my group program if you want something different. So I'm open to that. If you've got any questions, just let me know. I'm happy to help you guys. Okay, so just be mindful of, if you just think that next course is the magic pill, that next course, that next program will get you where you need to go, and then you buy it and you're still stuck and frustrated and not taking action, then, you need some different types of support there. Number 6. This is the one, one-to-one is potent. It is. It's so amazing. So amazing. And you don't need it all the time, but we sort of, new level, new devil. You get through a certain point, you're doing great, and you get stuck again. And you need a different, the next person there to support you. And I'm a big believer that the right people will find us. So earlier in the year, I needed support on a couple of different things. I knew I wanted one-on-one support for them because they were just niggly little stories that I couldn't work through myself. And I just put it out there. I said, look, this is the type of support that I need right now. And within about 3 days, that person that I needed appeared in my realm. I loved it. It was beautiful. I'm like, where did you come from? And you are much more accountable. You can hide away in a group It's really easy to keep hiding in a group. It's much harder to hide when you are one-on-one with someone. So that's really important too. So I don't know if I said this one. Number 6, you must face your fears. The more you hide from them, the stronger they become, the louder they become, the bigger they become. So you have to show up and face your fears, because I can guarantee you that those stories you have created around what is so scary, what people are going to say, what the outcome is, they are 10 times worse than the reality. Once you stop running and you turn around and you face that fear and you do that thing that is scaring the absolute pants off you, when you stop and do that and you come out the other side and you're like, oh, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. And we realized that there was so much mind shit and unnecessary worry that we're putting ourselves through because of that fear. So you have to show up and face your fears. It's not always easy. That's why when you have support, be it a group or coaching or whatever it is, when you have that support, someone's there supporting you as you step into that scary space. And then when you freak out and try and run out of it, they're there to, gently nudge you forward again into it. And the more you are able to stretch that comfort zone, the easier it becomes. And you get familiar with the sensation that's going through. I'm actually getting goosebumps talking about this and just remembering what that feeling is like when you are absolutely terrified, but you do it anyway. And then that exhilaration on the other side, and you go, I did it. And I survived. Like, it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. I did something really scary in December. I came up with an idea. I discussed it with my mastermind buddies on a call late one night. They're all overseas. So I think it was probably 11 o'clock or something, midnight for me here. And I had this crazy idea and I said it to them out loud and they all went, yep, you got to do it. And I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea how. Like, no, you got to do it. Just do it. You got to do it. We're all here. We want to be in it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Anyway, I decided to do it. So that was an idea I had for a program called the 100K in 100 Days. It was just an accountability group. We just jumped in. It was a crazy idea. Had no idea what I was doing, how it was going to happen. I did a Facebook Live the next morning to share the crazy idea. There was no sales page. There was no funnel. There was no marketing plan. This was just me showing up on Facebook Live and sharing the idea. And within a week, I had 50-something people sign up for that crazy idea with me. I was so terrified on that Facebook Live. Like, I'm happy to do a Facebook Live. That's no problem. I'm used to them now. It took me probably 6 months to a year to do my first one because I was so terrified. And the first however many were awful. And I'm not saying this is great. I'm just saying I'm more comfortable doing them because I've practiced and I've done it. But I was so nervous sharing that idea and putting myself out there. Was it December last year? I was just sweating. I had to go and change my top after that. I was just because I was so terrified. But guess what? I survived. It had thousands and thousands of views, that video. I had people from all over the world sign up for this program. I met some amazing people through it because I had people there pushing me and nudging me forward. If I'd left that up to me, I would never done anything with it. I would have missed that opportunity. And everyone in the groups would have missed those opportunities. And we created some amazing things. So these are the things that can happen when we face that fear. We just move forward and do it anyway. It's going to be really uncomfortable. You probably sweat a lot. You probably want to back away. Bridget's here. Hello. Bridget, you'll have to go back and watch the replay because there's some little nuggets in here I'm sure you can relate to. I was just explaining about my 100K in 100 Days adventure, which you joined me on. That was awesome. And how nervous I was when I first shared that idea and how when we face our fears, amazing things can happen. So, yeah, that was a really cool experience. And just, again, another reminder that we have to just show up. If we get an idea that really excites us, we just have to do something with it. We can't keep all these ideas hidden away. Okay, number 7, hiding out does not serve anyone. Doesn't serve you, doesn't serve the people that are out there waiting for you. It doesn't serve anyone. Short term, you think it keeps you safe, but long term, it just keeps you small. So if you are hiding out, if you are unable to get the visibility that you want in your business, if you are finding all of the excuses not to do what you want to do and not to talk about what you want to talk about and not to say what's on your mind, you are hiding out. And there's people out there that need you. So you need to find a way to move through that and to get over that. I know it's scary when you are starting something from scratch. I know it's scary when you haven't fully articulated the idea yet, but you know there's something there and you really want to give it a go and you hide out and you wait. So I still fall for it. I still hide out occasionally. I catch myself a lot quicker. And that's when I do catch myself hiding, I make myself do something about it. I make myself show up in some way. So yeah, we need to be really conscious of when we're hiding. It does not serve anyone. It doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve the people out there waiting for us. Okay. Number 8, one of my favorites, again, there's so many lessons, and I have 1,000 stories for each of these, but we would be here till, I don't know, August if I kept going. Denial is not a strategy. Okay. Denial is not a strategy. We think it is. We think, again, it's going to keep us really safe and protected. Denial does not work. It does not achieve the results that you want. It is not a strategy to live by. And yet we fall for it again and again. We go into denial about what we really want to create. We go into denial about what's not working. We go into denial that we need help. We go into denial about all these different things. Belinda's here. Hey, Belinda. I just said to Bridget, you have to go and watch the rest of it again when you get a chance, because I'm down to number 8 now. And the good thing is, if you are coming into the replay and you think, man, I don't have an hour to watch this thing, get the video speed controller on Chrome. It's my favorite thing ever. Whenever I have to watch a replay, I put everyone on 1.5 speed, 2 times speed. It's amazing. So yes, go back and be sure to watch what's going on. And let me know if you do go back to the replay, let me know what resonates with you along the way, because I'm sharing this stuff because I know I'm not the only one that goes through it. I speak to people every single day that are going through these things or something similar. So this is my way of saying, you're doing okay. You are not alone. You are supported if only you will allow yourself to be supported with everything that you're doing. Okay, the last 2 I'm going to finish up on, because I know it's getting late for people, is we all have blind spots. Every single one of us. We all have blind spots, and the whole point of the blind spot is we can't see them. We don't know what they are. We all have them though. So if you're feeling stuck, if you have that frustration, if you're not getting the results that you want, if you can't seem to get the clarity around the direction you want to take, or who you're working with, or what your skills are, or whatever those frustrations are, there's a blind spot there. You will not be able to pick it up by yourself. You will need an external set of eyes to come in and show you what's going on. So Belinda's saying, I will. I'm babysitting an 8-week-old puppy, so I'm distracted. Oh my gosh, 8-week-old puppy. That is so cute. Shell, if you're still here, although I'm not sure if Shell's still here. She's got a little puppy at the moment too. So I'm loving the puppy spam. You have to send me a photo, Belinda. My puppy is, I think she's nearly 6, but she still acts like a puppy. She still thinks she fits in my lap. Puppies are so cute. So yes, permission granted to be distracted. So yeah, we all have a blind spot. Be okay with that. It's not it doesn't make you any less of a person because you can't see something right in front of you. We are all amazing at helping other people with certain things. We are not so great at helping ourselves. Like, there's accountants out there that are amazing looking after their clients, and their own books are, not as up to date as they should be. We had gardeners, we had landscapers come in and do an amazing job in our garden when we first bought this house, but he said his garden hasn't been done for years. Like, we can't always do what we do for others for ourselves. So we all have blind spots. So be okay with that. Just be really open and accepting. Again, you are a glorious work in progress. Please remember that. And the final one I want to leave you with is that none of us have all our shit together. None of us. Like, we look out in this online world and we think, oh my God, they're so perfect. Oh my God, look at that amazing website. Look at that, this blah, 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 whatever it is. And you see all these photos on Instagram and you see the show reel of what everyone's putting out there. And so many people do so many amazing things and they have such a great skill set in something in particular. That does not mean they have everything else in life or business figured out. And you shouldn't have to either. You have an amazing skill set, you have value, you have perspective, it's so great. Stop focusing on all the things you can't do and focus on the great things that you can do. And I think we get so tempted to get stuck on the negative, and we get stuck on all the things we can't do yet and all the things we haven't achieved and all the things we don't have, instead of all the amazing things we do have, instead of all the things we can do, all the things we are great at. So please don't feel less about yourself looking around the world at everyone else, because everyone has blind spots. Like I said, no one has all their shit together. There are plenty of things that I am terrible at. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not here to be perfect at everything. There are some things that I'm really great at and that I love doing. And they're the things I want to focus on. Like, they're my strengths. That's what they're the things that people come to me for. It doesn't mean I have to be an expert at funnels. I get people to help me with that. Shell, who's here before, she has an amazing membership that I'm a part of, because called the House of Funnelry, because email sequences and nurture sequences and funnels and all of this product, blah, 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 and marketing, that's not my sweet spot. I know enough about it, having been in this business for so long, but that's not where I want to spend my day figuring those bits out. Whereas Shell, that's her sweet spot. You ask her a question, you pose that, and she's like, oh yeah, and she lays it all out for you. Amazing. We all have these gifts and talents, and we all have these strengths, and that's what you need to play to. Don't spend all your time and energy focusing on all the stuff you haven't got figured out yet. There are things you need to learn, always. Get support for that. But don't think you have to be an expert at absolutely everything, because I can assure you we all have blind spots and no one has all their shit together. So that's it. That's my top 10 lessons to date for 2018. I mean, the year has flown by. So the 30th of June for me is, since I've left finance, it's a whole new date to celebrate. I actually met my husband on the 30th of June 23 years ago. So on Saturday, it'll be 23 years ago. Amazing. So the 30th of June for us is nothing at all to do with a financial year, to be honest, apart from the fact that I know I've got to get my stuff into my bookkeeper and my accountant. But I think it's really important that we just take this time whenever. Like, if you want to set a time at the end of every month, every quarter, every 6 months, whatever it is, and just sit back and reflect. What are your best lessons for the year? What have you learned? What do you want to celebrate about? What are you celebrating? And I hope you're celebrating often. I hope you're celebrating on a regular basis, because you are learning so much, and you are growing so much, and you are doing so much. But again, you're probably stuck focusing on the stuff you haven't figured out instead of celebrating all the cool stuff you have figured out. So that's kind of my little reminder to you about all of this stuff. I wrote an article today on LinkedIn called Focus Forward, because I've got Focus Forward in my head right now. Like, it's so cool when you look at things that way, when you start to just stop getting stuck with all the stuff behind you and focus forward. And I shared a story of when I was climbing Mount Kinabalu in Borneo, and there were some people that didn't make it past base camp. There were some people that didn't make it past the rest house. And there were times where I wanted to give up, and my backpack was too heavy. I'd overpacked, and I wasn't fit enough. Like, I'd only found out 6 weeks before I was going on this climb. And so there were all these things that I could have just went, you know what, I'm not ready. I can't make it. Altitude sickness got me. Like, it was disgusting. I just wanted to vomit and then pass out, or maybe pass out and then vomit. I didn't know which order I wanted to do it in. My head was so foggy. But I kept just focusing forward. I knew I could see the summit. I wanted to be there for sunrise. And I literally just kept focusing forward. I didn't look down the mountain at all the times I'd tripped and the steps I'd fallen off and the rocks that were too big and I had to get someone to push me up onto them. I didn't worry about all that stuff. I just kept focusing forward. And I had my support crew, I had my guide, and I got to that summit. And I tell you what, the view from the top was amazing. The other cool thing about that climb is it was Valentine's Day. We had no phone reception for the climb up, nothing. It was just dead. You're up in the mountains. And then on the top of the mountain, I hear this little ping and a message comes in from my husband. Like, there's no mobile service anywhere. I don't know how the hell this message got in, but it did. I couldn't reply. There was no service to reply. But I thought, how beautiful is that? That message found me on the top of that mountain, and I'd made it because I kept focusing forward. I didn't worry about all the stuff left behind. I didn't worry about all the other things I'd attempted and hadn't made. I didn't worry about, the things I'd done wrong. I just kept focusing forward. So when you're doing anything, just keep looking forward, creating stories for growth that are going to get you moving where you want to go, and not keeping you stuck in the past, not keeping you stuck in that old narrative that's keeping you stuck and keeping you small. So I really hope that has helped. Belinda, please give that puppy a little tickle in the belly for me, a little cuddle, because I'm sure the puppy is amazing. And that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you tonight. I think it's really important that we are open and honest in this journey, and that we help each other out and support each other throughout all of it, because it's not easy. It's not something we need to do or should do ever do alone. So please don't sit there and think, oh my God, I have to figure all this stuff out myself. You don't. You absolutely do not have to figure this out yourself. There are people out there that can support you. So important that you realize that. So if you have any questions, if you're pondering on this in a day or two and you're like, oh, actually, I really want to ask her that, then reach out, send me a message, comment on this video. If you're coming back to watch the replay, let me know that you were here. Let me know if this resonated with you. Hopefully some of these tips have helped. Hopefully some of them will give you some permission to move forward, will give you some inspiration, will give you another little kick up the bum if that's what you need. And it's really important that you just give yourself permission to go and do the things that you want to do. Because there's plenty of people out there that will tell you you can't do it. There are plenty of people out there who tell you, you know, why bother? They're stuck in that negativity. They don't want to grow. But if you're out there giving things a shot, then you do want change and you want to make it happen. And you have got that potential within you. You just have to kind of get out of your own way to do it. So that is my little 6-month check-in for 2018. I'm not going to do it on Saturday because I'll be off. I don't know, maybe we'll go mountain biking with my hubby. I don't know what we're doing. We haven't sort of organised it yet. He's had to work a lot of weekends. So I'm hoping this weekend isn't one of them. So yeah, hopefully that has helped. If you want to chat to me about anything, if you want to just run through some ideas, if you want to, you know, I'm trying to make this decision here, I'm available to do that. So you can go through my website, just PM me, send me an email, natasha@natashavanzetti.com, and I'm happy to chat with you. I did set up a bit.ly link, so bit.ly, bit.ly/chat with Tash, and that will get you an appointment, just a free chat with me. If you want to know more about Focus Forward, then you can go bit.ly/focus with Tash, and that will tell you about the Focus Forward opportunity that's out there at the moment. There is a discount before 30th of June. Because, hey, that's what we do, isn't it, in a financial year? Let you get it into this tax year. So, yeah, it's just really important that you take these lessons on board, that you consider them. I'm not saying you have to agree with every single one. These are my lessons, but I know that they will resonate with you, that some of them will resonate with you, if not all of them. So thank you, everyone who joined me. I need a big drink of water. My voice is about to die. So yes, please be kind to yourself. Please, you know, like I said in the beginning, the most important story of all is the one that we tell ourselves. So make sure it's a good one. And just pay attention to the ones that are no longer serving you and get rid of them. Pass them along. Actually, no one else needs those stories either. Just get rid of them. Set them, you know, I don't even know what the word is. Bid them farewell, I think is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I've had a blast chatting with you guys tonight. Thank you for jumping on and joining me. If you're coming back to the replay again, thank you for doing that. Have an amazing night. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you're up to, and let me know what you want to get done in the next 6 months, because if you start to take these things on board, your next 6 months are going to be amazing. And Susie, thank you for hanging in there. I know this was a lot longer than I thought. I said to my husband, I'll be out in about half an hour. But I could talk for days about this stuff. I love it. I love sharing what I'm learning, because I think it's so important to let people know what we're up to and what's going on in our lives so they can give themselves permission to accept what's going on in theirs. All right. I'm going to go off and grab a drink. Have an amazing evening if you're on my side of the world. Have an amazing day if you're on the other side of the world. And I'm sure I shall talk to you soon. All right. Take care. Love your work. Bye.